The first episode of Wednesday Season 2 begins with Wednesday fully embracing her psychic powers. She has been spending her time learning more about her abilities with the help of Goody Adams' old book, and now she has a brand new case to solve. The cold case of the Kansas City scalper. Of course, this isn't a normal murder investigation. This is Wednesday Adams we're talking about. So you can expect plenty of creepy, unsettling moments along the way. In a very on-brand moment, Wednesday somehow manages to get through airport security despite carrying an entire arsenal of weapons. She arrives in Kansas City to confront the dangerous serial killer known as the Kansas City Scalper, played by Haley Joel Osment. However, this time her psychic visions come with a disturbing side effect. Black tears streaming from her eyes. Things take a darker turn when the scalper captures her and ties her up in his basement. Just as the situation becomes dire, Thing comes to the rescue. With her quick thinking and fearless attitude, Wednesday manages to outsmart and capture the serial killer. But there's no time to rest. She needs to return to Nevermore Academy, where an entirely new chapter of her life is about to begin. Much to her dismay, Wednesday discovers that her younger brother, Pugsley Adams, played by Isaac Ordonez, will be attending Nevermore this year. As if that weren't bad enough, her parents, Morticia and Gomez Adams, played by Catherine Zeta-Jones and Luis Guzman, will also be spending more time nearby in Jericho. The school's new principal, Dort, portrayed by Steve Buscemi, offers Morticia a house close to campus if she agrees to organize the upcoming fundraising gala. This means the entire Adams family will now be hovering around. A scenario Wednesday considers her worst nightmare. On the way back to school, the episode briefly shifts perspective. A mysterious man is seen taking photographs of a couple from a distance. Suddenly, a one-eyed crow notices him. Moments later, more crows begin to swarm and follow him into his van, where they brutally peck him to death. This gruesome and mysterious attack sets the tone for another dark mystery, one that Wednesday won't be able to resist. Back at Nevermore, Wednesday's return doesn't go as she had hoped. Rather than blending back into her usual quiet, brooding self, she finds she's become somewhat of a celebrity. After saving the school last year, students now swarm her for autographs and treat her like a hero, something that absolutely disgusts her. Things go from bad to worse when she discovers that her roommate and best friend, Enid Sinclair, played by Emma Myers, is throwing a loud party in their dorm room with her werewolf pack. The two catch up briefly, but Wednesday is soon distracted by something far more ominous. While putting something away in her closet, an arrow suddenly shoots through the door, narrowly missing her. The arrow carries a photo of her and Principal Dort taken just minutes earlier. Attached to the photo is a chilling message. Welcome back, Wednesday. I'm still watching. It's clear that Wednesday now has a stalker. While most people would be frightened, she seems oddly thrilled by the idea of being watched. She attempts to use her psychic powers to discover the stalker's identity, but once again, her vision fails. All she gets is another black tear. Later, the Adams family visits the cottage offered to Morticia by Principal Barry Dort. Interestingly, the property used to belong to Marilyn Thornhill, and Morticia casually mentions her sister, Ophelia. A subtle detail that feels like a setup for a potential future appearance and is definitely something worth keeping an eye on. While exploring the woods near the cottage, Wednesday stumbles upon the crime scene from earlier in the episode. The one where private investigator Carl Bradbury was brutally killed by crows. It turns out Bradbury had been following a secret affair between two supermarket workers when he met his gruesome end. At the scene, Wednesday encounters her newest rival, Sheriff Richie Santiago, and also spots a hooded figure lurking nearby. She gives chase and discovers that it's actually Donovan Galpin, Tyler's father and the former sheriff. Galpin reveals that he had been secretly working a case with Bradbury. Something big, something that could potentially affect all outcasts. He believes Bradbury was murdered because he got too close to the truth. Despite still holding a grudge against Wednesday for what happened to Tyler, Galpin reluctantly asks for her help. Meanwhile, Wednesday notices the same one-eyed crow still lingering nearby, as if it's watching everything. Back at Nevermore, Wednesday meets the new head of the music department, Isadora Capri, played by Billie Piper. From the moment they meet, Wednesday senses something is off. Capri's behavior is suspicious enough for Wednesday to mentally place her on her growing watch list. Principal Dort, meanwhile, has his own plans for the semester. He decides to revive an old Nevermore tradition called the Founder's Pyre, which involves building a giant bird-shaped statue from sticks and setting it ablaze during a school-wide ceremony. Before the big night, Wednesday receives a disturbing gift from Xavier, a painting of the one-eyed crow. She also finds a creepy, typewritten message that reads, "Read any good books lately?" That's when she realizes that her precious manuscript, her only copy, has been stolen and hidden inside the wooden pyre. As the students gather for the lighting ceremony, Wednesday is still inside the statue, desperately searching for her book. The situation becomes tense when the pyre is set on fire before she escapes.
Wednesday!
Flames quickly surround her, but just as things get dire, she grabs her manuscript. Enid alerts Principal Dort that Wednesday is trapped inside. The crowd parts as smoke pours out, and Wednesday walks through it and onto the stage, completely unbothered. Principal Dort then unveils a giant portrait of Wednesday, and the crowd begins chanting her name. Rather than flattered, Wednesday is furious. She grabs the microphone and delivers an intense speech, calling everyone stupid for thinking she would ever want to be their leader. In true Wednesday fashion, she sets the painting on fire and walks off stage. Enid chases after her and places a hand on her shoulder, an action that unexpectedly triggers a new vision. Wednesday collapses, black tears streaming down her face, and is thrown into a disturbing scene. A cemetery filled with crows and Enid's tombstone. In the vision, Enid blames Wednesday for her death. Back in the real world, Morticia appears beside Enid, deeply concerned as Wednesday's body convulses from the effects of the vision. The episode also ties up some lingering questions from Season 1. Xavier's absence is explained when Principal Dort mentions that his father withdrew him from Nevermore and cut financial support after Xavier was accused of murder. He's now attending Reichenbach Academy in Switzerland. Enid's love life is also becoming complicated. She begins avoiding her boyfriend, Ajax, unsure about her feelings. Making things more confusing, she seems to be developing an attraction to Bruno, another member of her werewolf pack. Meanwhile, Pugsley is struggling to make friends. His roommate, Eugene, and his group of friends don't exactly welcome him. During the pyre event, Pugsley wanders into the woods, trips, and accidentally resurrects a decaying corpse using his powers, bringing a zombie to life. Elsewhere, Bianca becomes involved in a new subplot. Principal Dort offers her the role of student liaison for the upcoming fundraising gala. He makes a not-so-subtle threat regarding her scholarship, reminding her that it can easily be taken away. Accepting the position would mean working closely with Morticia, and though Bianca is hesitant, it seems she doesn't have much of a choice. The second episode opens with Wednesday deep inside one of her psychic visions. She's in a graveyard, surrounded by crows, as she hears her best friend Enid screaming that she's dead because of Wednesday. Suddenly, Wednesday jolts awake, finding dried black tears on her face. Morticia is by her side and explains that the black tears are a sign of psychic exhaustion. She urges Wednesday to slow down, to follow the guidance of a new mentor, and not to rush her development. But Wednesday, as usual, is impatient, insisting that she doesn't have time to wait. Lurch drives Wednesday and Thing out into town, but her mind is spinning. Clues are piling up. Sheriff Galpin's warnings, Xavier's mysterious painting, and the vision of Enid's death. All of them are connected by a strange, one-eyed bird. She decides to stop by Galpin's house. The place is boarded up and covered in graffiti. Inside, Wednesday finds Galpin's lifeless body slumped in a chair, his eyes pecked out. Crows suddenly burst from his mouth and smash through the windows, except for one, with a single red eye, that lingers before flying off. Wednesday attempts to use her psychic powers on Galpin's body, but gets nothing. Before she can try again, Sheriff Santiago arrives and arrests her for trespassing and disturbing a crime scene. At the police station, Wednesday insists she was invited there. Santiago informs her that Bradbury had called Galpin shortly before his death. But now, Galpin's phone is missing. Wednesday suggests Tyler, Galpin's estranged son, could be involved. But Santiago shuts her down, reminding her that Tyler is locked up at Willow Hill psychiatric facility. Just then, Gomez Adams arrives, not only as her father, but also as her legal counsel. He demands that the police obtain a court order before questioning her further and promptly takes her home. Back at Nevermore, it's prank day, a chaotic campus tradition where students pull elaborate tricks on each other. Eugene discovers Pugsley hiding a mysterious boy in the bee shed. The boy, chained up and with a hole in his skull and part of his brain missing, is nicknamed Slurp. Pugsley keeps him calm with honey, though Slurp's idea of gratitude involves vomiting all over them. Meanwhile, Wednesday is unsettled by her failing psychic visions and the recurring image of Enid's death. Returning to her dorm, she's horrified to see Enid lying on the balcony with her throat slashed. But it turns out to be jam. Enid is getting revenge for a prank Wednesday pulled earlier involving a fake eyeball. They bicker playfully until Enid checks her phone, and things take a serious turn. She's received threatening messages from Wednesday's stalker. The number traces back to Donovan Galpin's voicemail, leading Wednesday to believe that Galpin's killer is now toying with her. She urges Enid to stay put, but Enid insists on going to her scheduled driving lesson. As prank day chaos erupts across the school, Wednesday investigates further. She questions Principal Barry Dort and Dr. Orloff about whether any current or former students had the ability to control birds. Dr. Orloff replies that the last known student with such powers left years ago. Meanwhile, Bianca visits Morticia to discuss the upcoming fundraising gala. She hints that Principal Dort is hoping for a substantial donation from Morticia's wealthy mother. Morticia laughs off the idea, clearly amused by the principal's ambitious expectations. Pugsley later discovers that Slurp is trying to break free from his chains. Meanwhile, Wednesday, desperate for answers, decides to visit Tyler at Willow Hill. She impersonates Enid to steal her driving lesson, taking the instructor's car and driving all the way to the psychiatric facility.
Friend. And now.
At Willow Hill, Dr. Rachel Fairburn, the facility psychiatrist, explains that Tyler refuses to cooperate with anyone, but she hopes Wednesday might be able to reach him. Inside his heavily secured cell, Tyler coldly taunts Wednesday.
So, what do you think of the place?
It's inevitable your morbid curiosity would bring you here.
Accusing her of falling in love with the monster inside him. When she tells him about his father's murder, Tyler refuses to help, and even threatens to kill Enid the next time he sees her.
Tell her I'm gonna kill her the next time I see her.
Back at Nevermore, Eugene bursts in to tell Pugsley that Slurp has escaped. At the same time, Enid brings Bruno, her new crush and fellow werewolf, to her dorm, where they find a present for Thing, a mugshot, sent as a birthday gift from Uncle Fester. Enid decides to celebrate Thing's birthday with her pack. But before they can leave, something happens to Bruno. He vanishes mysteriously. Simultaneously, Thing's house, his little chest, locks shut, trapping him inside. Meanwhile, Bianca, under pressure from Principal Barry Dort, is told once again to use her siren powers to convince Morticia to invite her mother to the fundraising gala. She tries to use her powers on Dort instead, but he's immune, thanks to a coral pocket watch that neutralizes siren influence. He sternly orders her to follow his original request. When Wednesday returns to her dorm, she frees Thing and discovers Enid's bag left behind, with a phone ringing inside. A distorted voice on the line tells her she has 30 minutes to find Enid and warns her not to involve anyone else. Moments later, a postcard slides under the door. It shows a heart and the cryptic message, "Play dead." Meanwhile, Enid wakes up chained back-to-back with Bruno at the top of the old Iago clock tower, which has been sealed off for years. Hundreds of knives hang above them. Enid initially thinks this is some elaborate prank by Ajax, but a falling knife proves otherwise. Back in her dorm, Wednesday studies the postcard. She realizes heart refers to an organ, and the letters form musical notes. Playing those notes on an actual organ inside the school opens a secret passage. She moves through the dark tunnel, unaware that a masked figure is silently following her. Inside the tower, she finds a second clue that reads, "Clock's ticking." She soon discovers a typewriter with a challenge. "What don't you see? Type your answer to set your friends free." Looking at a nearby collection of books, she realizes something is missing, the Invisible Man. She types it in. Just in time, the knives stop. The masked culprit finally steps out, Agnes DeMille, a fellow student and Wednesday's self-proclaimed #1 fan. Agnes explains that she didn't kill Galpin, nor did she leave the fake eyeball. She only orchestrated the game to get Wednesday's attention. She hands over Galpin's phone and admits to blackmailing other students into helping her set up the elaborate trap. Wednesday, unimpressed, takes Enid and Bruno and leaves. Elsewhere, Bianca finally gives in and uses her siren song on Morticia, convincing her to invite her powerful mother to the gala. Later, Wednesday apologizes to Thing for forgetting his birthday and gives him an antique thumbscrew as a gift. But there's one more twist. Wednesday discovers that Morticia has taken Goody Adams' Book of Spells. As she processes this revelation, the ominous one-eyed red crow appears once again. In the woods, Slurp stumbles onto the road and is struck by the driving instructor's car. The same instructor Wednesday stole the vehicle from earlier. But Slurp vanishes, only to reappear behind the man and eat him. The third episode kicks off at the Adams household, where Morticia and Gomez throw a belated spa day celebration for Thing, their ever-loyal hand companion. The family is mildly embarrassed for having forgotten such an important date, but they blame it on being pulled in too many directions, between responsibilities at Nevermore and their chaotic personal lives. Morticia, in particular, seems distracted. She reveals that she's invited her mother, Hester Frump, to the upcoming fundraising gala, though Bianca's siren powers were actually responsible for influencing the decision. The invitation dredges up old, unpleasant memories for Morticia. Gomez tries to lighten the mood and promises they'll still have a fun night. But the moment is interrupted when Morticia senses that Wednesday is sneaking around the house. Sure enough, Wednesday has broken in, looking for the Book of Shadows, an ancient guide to psychic abilities that once belonged to Goody Adams. She tries to convince her mother that her visions are real and directly tied to the strange events unfolding around Nevermore. Morticia isn't convinced. She warns Wednesday not to put too much trust in psychic visions, bringing up her own sister, Ophelia, who had similar powers and was eventually driven to madness. The conversation becomes tense, and Wednesday leaves empty-handed, for now. Back in her dorm, Wednesday's investigation has hit a dead end, and Enid's constant excitement over the upcoming group camping trip only frustrates her more. Things suggests warning Enid directly about the danger she's in, but Wednesday refuses, still convinced she must solve things her own way. That's when Agnes DeMille reappears, admitting she's been around all along, invisibly tagging along behind Wednesday. She tries to get back in her good graces, but Wednesday warns her not to push her luck any further. Instead, Wednesday attends Donovan Galpin's funeral, where only Sheriff Santiago and Dr. Rachel Fairburn from Willow Hill show up. While speaking with Dr. Fairburn, Wednesday learns that Galpin had once visited Tyler at the facility, but the visit went badly, with Tyler nearly losing control. It's another puzzle piece, but still not enough to crack the full mystery. Meanwhile, Bianca continues to deal with her own problems. She uses her siren powers to secretly secure a hotel room for her mother, Gabrielle, who is now in hiding. Gabrielle's past ties to Gideon Sterling, the manipulative leader of the Morning Song cult, have left her vulnerable. After a police raid scattered the cult members, Gabrielle fears Gideon might come after her. Bianca is determined to keep her safe. Back in Wednesday's storyline, she finally gives up trying to unlock Galpin's phone by herself and enlists Agnes' help. Together, they recruit Josephine, a shy shapeshifter, to bypass the phone's facial recognition lock. Inside, they discover a voice message that references a bullpen, a location that holds all of Galpin's collected evidence. Digging through Carl Bradbury's box of clues, Wednesday finds a photo of a cabin labeled Bullpen, located in Pinecrest Forest, right next to Camp Jericho, which just so happens to be the destination for the school's upcoming camping trip. It's the perfect cover. Wednesday decides to join the trip, much to Enid's delight, though Wednesday clearly has darker motives for tagging along. On the way to the school camping trip, Wednesday runs into Pugsley, who's lugging around a suspicious-looking coffin. He claims it's for fireworks, but in reality, he's smuggling along Slurp, the zombie. To make things even more chaotic, Morticia and Gomez decide to join the trip as parent chaperones, adding another layer of family dysfunction to the mix. Camp Jericho begins as harmless fun, but trouble brews quickly. Pugsley confides in B-Boy, revealing the secret about Slurp. Gomez nearly discovers the truth when he tries to enter their tent. At the same time, Principal Barry Dort gets into a heated argument with Ron Kruger, the leader of the Phoenix Cadets, over a double booking of the campsite. With no clear resolution in sight, Wednesday steps in and proposes a winner-takes-all challenge, a color war game. The objective is simple. Each team must steal the rival's colored ball and place it on top of a tall watchtower. Whoever completes the task first gets full control of the camp. It's outcasts versus normies. The game kicks off with intensity. The Phoenix Cadets gain an early lead, using dirty tactics, including Ajax's Medusa ability and even tear gas, to hold the outcasts back. But Wednesday quickly turns the tide by instructing B-Boy to unleash a swarm of bees on the cadets. She then calmly walks through the tear gas and retrieves their ball. Still behind on time, she improvises a zip line and launches herself to the top of the watchtower. Securing victory for the outcasts. While the others celebrate, Wednesday quietly slips away to search for the bullpen, the location mentioned in Galpin's phone. She discovers a hidden pinboard inside a rundown cabin, filled with files from Donovan Galpin and Carl Bradbury's investigation. The board documents outcast students from Willow High who have mysteriously disappeared or been declared dead. One name stands out: Lois. Wednesday becomes convinced that this person is the one kidnapping outcasts, and Enid could be the next target. Elsewhere, Ajax and Enid finally have an honest conversation and decide to officially break up, freeing Enid to explore her growing connection with Bruno. Wednesday later returns to confront Morticia once again, still determined to get the Book of Shadows. Morticia refuses, so Wednesday challenges her to a duel. A traditional CAGS, classical Adams Gothic sport, blindfolded sword fight. The stakes? If Wednesday wins, she gets the book. If Morticia wins, she burns it. Meanwhile, the Phoenix cadets begin to reconsider their hostile plan to take over the camp after seeing how much fun the outcasts are having. But Kruger remains stubborn. His plan is suddenly derailed when Slurp the zombie escapes again, looking far more human than before. He attacks Kruger, biting into his brain, and then goes on the hunt for his next victim. The duel begins. Each combatant wears a fragile glass heart, and the first to shatter their opponents wins. Wednesday fights for the book. Morticia threatens to destroy it. The battle is evenly matched, with mother and daughter clashing in a dramatic, elegant duel. Elsewhere, Pugsley and B-Boy race to stop Slurp, who is now armed with an axe and charging toward the men's washroom, where an unsuspecting Gomez is taking a shower. At the last second, Pugsley uses an improvised electric shock to disable Slurp. Back at the duel, Morticia ultimately shatters Wednesday's glass heart, winning the fight. But Wednesday gets the last word when she saves her mother from Slurp by stabbing the zombie mid-attack. With Slurp now restrained and sent off to Willow Hill, the camp trip is cut short. As the episode closes, a chilling twist is revealed. Willow Hill might be at the center of all the strange activity surrounding the missing outcasts. To make things even more unsettling, it's revealed that Laurel Gates, the former antagonist from Season 1, is now a patient at the facility. The final episode of Wednesday Season 2, Part 1 opens at Willow Hill, the eerie psychiatric facility that has been at the center of Wednesday's investigation. A guard escorts Marilyn Thornhill to see Dr. Rachel Fairburn. Marilyn puts on a pleasant front, claiming she read Fairburn's book and that it actually helped her while she was grooming Tyler. Fairburn admits she thought that time apart would weaken the bond between Marilyn and Tyler, but now she wants to understand exactly what Marilyn did to him, hoping to try rehabilitating him herself. Marilyn, sly as ever, says she'll reveal everything if she's transferred to Willow Hill as a patient, not a prisoner. Fairburn refuses, saying that only a jury could decide her fate, and that she may have to resort to more invasive treatments on Tyler. She orders Marilyn back to solitary confinement until her trial. Desperate to maintain her leverage, Marilyn relents, on one condition: she gets to see Tyler. That meeting turns deadly. Fairburn brings Marilyn to Tyler's secured cell. When he tries to touch her, the chains hold him back. Calmly, he says he's been dreaming of this moment. Then, in a violent flash, he transforms into the Hide, grabs her by the throat, and hurls her across the room. Due to Marilyn's medical condition, they can't use the shock collar or it might kill her. Despite the brutal attack, Marilyn smiles, not in fear, but admiration. Meanwhile, Wednesday breaks into a mausoleum, smashing her way in to retrieve an urn. She's joined unexpectedly by Grandmama Adams, who claims Wednesday basically dared her to come by asking for dirt on a competitor. The urn's nameplate reads Patricia Redcar, one of the Willow Hill patients whose obituary Sheriff Galpin had kept. Wednesday tells Grandmama about her vision of a friend's death, her loss of psychic powers, and Morticia's plan to burn Goody Adams' spellbook. When they open the urn, Grandmama tells her to smell the ashes, her bizarre method for identifying remains. Wednesday realizes the ashes smell like animal bones, not human. Suddenly, the one-eyed crow swoops in and steals the obituary from Wednesday's hands. It flies off, followed by a hooded figure on a motorcycle. Grandmama offers to buy the entire cemetery to help investigate who authorized these fake cremations, partly to annoy Morticia, who disapproves of Wednesday, dabbling in the family's darker business. But back at Nevermore, the one-eyed crow continues to watch Wednesday from a distance. Wednesday returns to her dorm, ignoring Enid's do not disturb scrunchie on the doorknob. Inside, she finds Enid with Bruno. Out of nowhere, Agnes appears, admitting she's been invisibly hanging around for a while. Annoyed, Enid storms off. Agnes hands Wednesday a letter. Her publisher has dropped her. Wednesday shrugs it off and ropes Agnes into helping her break into Willow Hill. She also enlists Uncle Fester, who recalls being sent to Willow Hill once by Morticia to see someone named Ophelia, but she was already gone by then. Fester uses his electricity to reveal Agnes's invisible form and agrees to help track down Lois. He checks into a hotel under a fake name and pays in cash. But the bizarre noises coming from his room draw attention. Staff call the police, and Sheriff Santiago shows up. He arrests Fester and finds Bianca's mother, Gabrielle, in another room down the hall. It's revealed that Fester has a stack of fake IDs and a rap sheet as a wanted bank robber. Santiago calls Dr. Fairburn, and Gabrielle is taken to Willow Hill as well. Back at Nevermore, Bianca is stuffing gala invitations with Ajax, Eugene, and Pugsley. Principal Dort assigns them detention for the chaos caused during the camping trip. Bianca gets a text from her mother saying she's been taken to the station, but Dort refuses to let her leave. Meanwhile, at Rotwood Cottage, Wednesday confronts Morticia about Ophelia. Morticia reluctantly admits that during Ophelia's sophomore year, she had a breakdown and was sent to Willow Hill. Just then, Grandmama interrupts, dropping off the deed to the cemetery. Before leaving, she secretly whispers to Wednesday that the cremations were signed off by someone named Augusta Stonehurst. Morticia is furious and blames Grandmama for meddling. In detention, Bianca decides to break out and rescue her mom. Ajax fakes a trip and uses his snake hair to petrify Dr. Orloff, freezing him long enough for Bianca to escape. Ajax tags along, while Eugene and Pugsley try to follow. But Bianca uses her siren song to force them to stay behind. At Willow Hill, Fester endures bizarre treatments while trying to ask patients about Louise, the name he believes may be connected to Lois. He mistakenly flirts with a lunch lady, thinking she's Louise, but her badge confirms her identity. They flirt anyway. Back at Nevermore, Agnes discovers that Augusta Stonehurst was a normie doctor at Willow Hill, and before that, a science teacher at Nevermore. Now, he's reportedly a patient at Willow Hill. Wednesday sends Thing to go find him, but before he can, the hooded killer sends a murder of crows to attack. The one-eyed crow swoops in and snatches Thing, but Principal Dort uses his fire powers to knock the crow out of the air. Wednesday chases the hooded figure through a hidden passage behind a bookcase, only to find herself inside Miss Capri's music room. Waiting there is Dr. Fairburn, calm as ever. Miss Capri appears moments later, flustered, out of breath, and carrying a tray of tea. Wednesday notices a cage full of birds in the corner, raising more questions before she leaves quietly. Meanwhile, at Willow Hill, Bianca's mother is moments away from being questioned when Bianca uses her siren powers to manipulate Sheriff Santiago, forcing him to drop the interrogation. Elsewhere in the facility, Thing sneaks in and finds Uncle Fester, helping him track down Augustus Stonehurst. They encounter Augustus's old parrot, which suddenly squawks out a cryptic code, 51971. Fester quickly realizes it's a door code, likely to a restricted part of the building. Wednesday, still suspicious, learns from Dr. Orloff that Augustus had a daughter, and that he once kept an aviary inside Ergo Tower, a long-abandoned wing of the facility. Meanwhile, Ajax and Bianca overhear Principal Dort on a call, vaguely assuring someone that he has everything under control. This makes them even more suspicious. With the pieces coming together, Wednesday crafts a risky plan. Agnes will create a distraction for the guards. Wednesday will sneak in using Miss Capri's car. Louise, the lunch lady, will help her reach Fester. Enid will tip off Sheriff Santiago if things go wrong. The plan works, sort of. Wednesday successfully frees Fester. But in the process, they accidentally release Slurp, the chained zombie-like creature. Now stronger and less restrained than ever, Slurp goes on a violent rampage through the facility. In the chaos, Marilyn Thornhill escapes custody and rushes to find Tyler. She insists that Wednesday is the true enemy, manipulating everything. But Tyler, unimpressed, gives her a 5-second head start, then transforms into the Hide and kills her without mercy. Outside, rain pours down as patients flee the collapsing institution. Fester kisses Louise goodbye. Inside, Dr. Fairburn wheels Augustus through the hallways in an attempt to save him. But Slurp finds and devours her, calling Augustus an old friend before turning on him and attacking. Wednesday finally tracks down the hooded killer in a hidden underground laboratory. She pulls back the hood, revealing Judy, Dr. Fairburn's seemingly harmless administrator. Judy confesses that she is actually Augustus Stonehurst's daughter. Her father conducted illegal experiments on her in an attempt to give normies outcast abilities. The result? Judy became an avian-human hybrid, capable of controlling birds. She reveals the name of the program, Eloise. Eloise's long-term outcast integration study, a secret project designed to steal powers from outcasts and transfer them to normies. Before Judy can finish her monologue, Fester zaps her with a high-voltage shock, cutting the lights. Freed patients, now aware of the horror done to them, swarm Judy in the darkness. In the mayhem, Wednesday tries to help a terrified female patient escape. But suddenly, the Hide, Tyler, appears. In one swift, brutal motion, he grabs Wednesday and throws her through a window. She lands outside on the cold, wet ground, bloodied and unconscious, as police open fire on the rampaging monster behind her. Lying on the ground, Wednesday has a chilling realization. Her mother was right. She didn't solve the mystery. She made everything worse. And just like that, Wednesday lies broken, her enemies rising, and the shadows around Nevermore growing darker than ever. But this is far from over. Part 2 is coming this September. And trust us, what's coming is much worse. So, if you don't want to miss Wednesday's darkest chapter yet, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell, because you won't want to blink when the next mystery begins. Thanks for watching.